Hello my love, welcome back to the channel. It is Kay, your spiritual witch, your astrologer and your numerologist. So we're going to have a full moon in Sagittarius on the 14th of June at around 12:30 p.m. GMT. This is my local time. It may be the 14th for you, it may be the 15th. It really does depend on where you are in the world. And I'm going to give you 4 ways that we can manifest using the messages from the universe and what's going on in the cosmos right about now as we have this full moon. So if you're someone who wants to apply this to your own chart, you want to know where these energies and where the things will fall in your area of life, do feel free to check the description box, check out the link for Patreon. I've just uploaded a wonderful video using Britney Spears as an example how you can work out where the full and new moons will fall in your own chart. That said as well, if you want to check out your horoscope, do check that out. That will be linked below, and anyone who wants to skip through this video, the timestamps are all in the description box below. So back to June and what's happening. On the left here, we've got the chart for the day. This is how the universe is going to look. We've got the sun here at 23 degrees of Gemini. We've got the moon at the bottom at 23 degrees of Sagittarius, giving us the full moon. That's what makes a full moon. This full moon is actually going to be what we call a strawberry moon, and that is because she will be bigger, brighter and more clearer in the sky. And this is kind of linked a lot to folklore and mythology as well, like when farmers used to use the moon to kind of farm their crops. So it does date back to that kind of history, but generally speaking in astrology, we link a strawberry moon with luck, love and prosperity. And when I look at what's going on, this is exactly what I see, quite a prosperous time. The first thing to say is Mercury, which is the planet here which has the arrow pointing to him, the kind of turquoise color palette. He is the planet of travel, thoughts, IT, and he is finally out of retrograde, so it's about moving forward, and he is just about to move into the sign of Gemini. He is going to be at 0 degrees Gemini during the full moon. Now, anybody who has any planet at 0 degrees in their own personal chart, and when we have a planet move into a sign at 0 degrees at a significant time, like a full or new moon, it indicates that this is a new chapter. This is a chance for you to create a new chapter. And if you have this in your own personal birth chart, whatever planet it is and whatever sign it is, this can show you where, how and possibly even when you can reinvent yourself and create a new chapter for yourself in your own life, and how it could make you happy. But with the full moon, with Mercury being at 0 degrees Gemini, it's time to basically create that new chapter, guys. Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever direction it is that you want to go in, especially if you are a Gemini, or if you have Gemini rule your 10th, 1st or 12th house in your chart, if you know your chart, which are the areas of career, direction, us and who we are, and the 12th house can be our mental well-being and sometimes where we're held back in life. These would be great areas to create that new chart. If you have Gemini ruling any of these areas of your chart, the universe is directing you here. So, but anybody who doesn't know their chart, or just, if you're just listening to this for general info, right about now, this strawberry full moon that we have in June is a great time to create that new chapter in whatever area of your life you would like it, especially if it's to do with your thoughts, any trips that you want to do, or any kind of writing or communication that you do. So if you're a writer, if you're a blogger, if you're an Instagram influencer, or you're someone who works in PR, or you have a job, or you have a hobby even, like myself, where you communicate with people and you communicate with the masses, now would be a good time to start a new chapter with that, if that fits you. The second thing that's going on in the universe that we can use to manifest as well is that we have the moon forming a sextile with the planet Saturn, and Saturn is actually in retrograde. So if we look at the chart here, where you can see where I've put the 2 kind of arrows linked together at the bottom, on the left hand side we've got the moon at 23 degrees of Sagittarius, and then we've got Saturn, the planet which kind of looks like a H with a dash and it's kind of yellow. This planet is going to be at 25 degrees of the sign of Aquarius. So first things first, let's break this down. When I look at this, it looks to me like this is a message to say, you know what, now is a time for us to really be working through our challenges. Why do I say that? First of all, Saturn is the planet of challenges. He is the planet of hard work, discipline. He is the planet that's going to put obstacles in our way and teach us lessons and all this kind of stuff, because that's his job. Now, when he is sextile, which is kind of working in slight harmony in astrology to a planet like the moon, and the moon is about our emotions and how we feel, it says to me that now's the time to work through it. Now's the time to really work through those challenges as we progress through this full moon. Not only that, we have to keep in mind that Saturn is also retrograde. So what does this mean? When a planet is retrograding, it's basically pulling us back to a situation, person, place, or thing. You've probably heard me say this before if you've watched this channel. And retrograde is an ideal time to deal with whatever that planet represents in your chart, or whatever it's showing you when it's pushing you back to something. So this could be challenges that we've had in the past, or challenges that we've had this year so far to date, you know, however it resonates for you. Emotionally, if you felt any kind of challenge, this full moon could be a great time to really sit, reflect on it, and see how you can work through it, especially from an emotional perspective, because it is the actual moon, which is a representation of our emotions, that is forming this slight harmony with a sextile to a planet like Saturn, which is, you know, the planet of challenges, which is actually in retrograde. Now, key things to say about the signs as well that this is happening in: both Sagittarius, where the moon is in, and Aquarius are both signs that vibrate very, very highly with knowledge, but in different respects. So you've got Sagittarius, which is about seeking new knowledge, about going out and having adventure, and very linked to spirituality and philosophy and the views that people have on life. And then you've got Aquarius, which is very factual, realistic, based on data. Like, if it's not a sign or an energy that deals with anything fluffy. If you can't back it up with any kind of proof or evidence, then Aquarius is really not interested. But the key message here is these are both signs that deal with information and knowledge. So the universe is kind of saying, what have you learned from these challenges that you're going through? And now's the time to really work through them. And you know, if you know your chart well, just check where Aquarius and Sagittarius rule in your chart. And this could give you an indication about what actual challenges the universe is pointing you to personally in your own chart, if you know your chart well. If you do not, as I said, feel free, check the links in the description box, check Patreon. I've used Britney Spears as an example how you can work out where things would fall in your own chart. And she's actually my favorite Sagittarius, so that's why I chose her to do that demonstration. Okay, so the third energy that's actually going on over this full moon. Now, this is a really nice one. We've got the part of fortune, which is actually going to be working with Aries, is going to be under Aries, and he's going to be working with, you know, bringing to us luck and fortune, and he is also at 0 degrees. Now, if you watch the very, very first part of the video, I explained to you briefly that when we have a planet enter a sign at 0 degrees, or if we have a planet at 0 degrees in our chart, our own chart, our birth chart, under a sign, it can indicate where we can reinvent ourselves, where we can create new chapters. Now, the part of fortune isn't something that's spoken about a lot in astrology, I find. So I might do a separate video on this to let you all know why this is so key, because the part of fortune shows where a person can find their fortune in life, how they can be happy, how they can find their joy. And it's even something that you can use in astrology, that I use when I do birth chart readings, to clarify someone's career, or what career could be really suited to them, or how they can make a lot of money. Now, in the cosmos at the moment, during this full moon, we have got the part of fortune moving into the sign of Aries. So we have a new chapter. And what sign are we working with? What energy? We're working with Aries. What is Aries about? Aries is the modern ruler, you could say, of the first house, which is about us, motivation, drive. Let's go, let's get it done. This is what I want. We're moving forward. It's a very forceful energy. So the universe is saying right now, you know what? You can really create some fortune and some luck, or maybe even a new chapter, and be lucky with that new chapter or direction that you're going if you can be motivated and take on Aries kind of energy, if you can really motivate yourself. Now, if you do know your chart and you know where Aries rules, then obviously this is where the part of fortune is going to be falling for you. And it could be this particular area of your life that you could really create a new chapter with now, or maybe even experience some fortune. So with this particular thing that's happening in the universe during this full moon, this says to me, if you're someone who does like prosperity spells or luck spells, this is a great time to do it, especially as we've got this new chapter energy, and especially if your own part of fortune yourself, if you know your chart is under Aries, then whew, it's an ideal time. But again, this is another indication to me that this moon is about love, luck, and expansion and prosperity, because we've got this aspect with the part of fortune. So get out there, create your fortune, and create that new chapter. This is a really, really nice energy. So the next thing that is happening during this full moon that we can use to kind of manifest with, if we look over on the chart on the right hand side, is that this seems to be an energy of healing, you know, and trying to get over something, because we've got Chiron, which is not actually a planet in astrology, it's technically like an asteroid, and the other planet, Mars, which is a planet in astrology, funny enough, under Aries, and they're both conjunct at 15 degrees. So if you can see where I've put the arrow, and you've got kind of like the red planet, and then you've got the grey planet, kind of looks like a K with a kind of like dot, you could say, at the bottom, that would be Chiron, the asteroid, and the red one would be the planet Mars. So what is this about? Well, what does this mean? So Chiron, if you don't know, is what we call the wound healer, you could say, in astrology. Where this is placed in someone's chart is going to show you where they experience possibly their greatest hurts, their greatest losses, and where they could really experience some great healing in their life. What, you know, what area of life this is placed, it can show you how a person can really heal themselves. And then you've got a planet like Mars, which is about determination, motivation, drive. It is actually a representation of how we manage anger, how we get things done, and it represents our sex drive as well. So if you have these two energies conjunct, and a conjunction would be them side by side working together, you've got healing going on. And what have you got? Motivation to heal, motivation to work through things. The degree to me is also really important, because it's at 15 degrees, which is midpoint in astrology. So it's about the universe saying to us, you know what, you are halfway there with something right about now. You are halfway there with some kind of healing, some kind of turning point in your life, or now is the time to consider a turning point and move into some healing, or whatever it is that you need to do to move forward with your life. I thought that this was a really, really nice and significant thing that I could see in the universe going on during this full moon. And again, it brings that energy of luck, prosperity, healing, expansion, and moving forward. So if you're someone who does like healing rituals, if you're someone who is a healer, you know, you do Reiki or anything like that, this full moon could be a great time for you to carry out some Reiki, whether it's on you or someone that you know needs healing. It could be a great time to do a healing ritual. It could be a great time for just self-love and self-care, even if this means, you know, having an evening to yourself and just relaxing, having a face mask, or treating yourself in any way to make yourself feel good. This could be a great full moon for it. Now, again, the sign is quite important. I think the energy, we're working with Aries here. So this is not about passive healing. This is about, you know what, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to take the next step to move forward and do whatever it is that I need to do. So if you're someone who needs that healing time, needs that healing energy, or you even just need to ground yourself and go into your own heart space, this full moon could be a great time for it, because this is really nice. This is a really, really nice aspect. So in summary then, those were the 4 ways that we can use this full moon's energy to kind of manifest and heal. And, you know, check out your horoscope for June. If you look at the description box, I should link below, you know, earth, fire, air, all the playlists for the horoscopes for this month. They've been done. Just remember that this full moon is going to be at 23 degrees Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, I do want you to step into your personal power. This is your week if you are a Sagittarius sun sign watching this, especially if you are born later in the Sagittarius season and your sun could possibly be quite, you know, around say 19, 20 to 23 degrees. this is your personal power week. Remember, this energy of this strawberry full moon is largely, from what I see in astrology as an astrologer, about healing, new chapters, luck, love and prosperity. That is the theme that I feel, that is the theme that I see within the universe, and we should all embrace that. For the Geminis who could be watching this, it's good for you to know that your ruler, Mercury, the planet Mercury, which is here on the chart, if you look at the top, at the planet that's circled in yellow, that would be the sun at 23 degrees of Gemini, actually. So that would make the full moon because it's the opposite sign to Sagittarius. If you move to the right hand side of that, you've got the turquoise kind of image, or glyph I should say. This would be the sign for Mercury. So your planet is just moved into its home sign, one of its home signs, Gemini. So this is really cool to know that your ruling planet is here. If you are a Virgo as well, I should say, because Virgo is ruled by Gemini, but sorry, excuse me, Virgo is ruled by Mercury as well, but your ruling planet is at home. Although he's not under your energy, he is under one of the energies that he does rule. So this could bring some good energy for Geminis in particular, and potentially any Virgo sun signs out there. Now, for anyone, all my Aquariuses, my fellow Aquariuses like me, remember that right about now our ruling planet is actually in retrograde, so he is pulling us back to something and he's retrograding through our sign of Aquarius. So if you are a later born Aquarius later in the season, then this could potentially be somewhere quite close to your own sun. So you personally could feel this quite a lot if you are born later in the season. He is currently at 25 degrees of Aquarius right about now, and he is going to be in that motion until October. So I just want to say, if you are a fellow Aquarius, put your seatbelt on, buckle up, because between now and October there could be for us personally some kind of changes, learning, moving through challenges, or being brought back to a situation, person, place or thing in our life, because our ruling planet is retrograding. And not only is he retrograding, he's retrograding through our sign. Okay, so this is a big one for all my Aquariuses out there. Let's see what happens in the last portion of this year as we move through the Saturn retrograde. That's it, guys. That's all I have for you for this full moon. Do check out Patron too. Check out all the links below. There could be anything there that you find interesting, or the other readings that I've done. Have a wonderful full moon in Sagittarius. It looks like a great full moon. Get out, see if you can actually see the moon during the full moon, because it is a strawberry moon. She should be a lot more visible for many of us who are able to see her clearly in our part of the world. Give the video a like if something here resonated or helped you. Subscribe, why not? I'd love to see you here again, and I will catch you around the new moon for the next video.